Welcome to Joa Fitness Health Wellness Video Podcast, a space to ignite your day through positive conversations. We bring people that have created excellence in their life, sharing high vibration in their reawakening path.
Hello, happy Friday to everyone. It's December, and I'm so happy that you tune in this week, the last month of December, on Joa Fitness, especially for all those mothers and women. Today, we're having another amazing talk about pelvic floor, and it's actually such a broad topic that you can imagine how many hours I can talk about this. Yeah. So my name is Joa Rivas. This is the first time you actually found this podcast. My name is Joa Rivas. I live in the city of Toronto, and I'm very, actually today, super pumped with a beautiful sunshine in this city. So I am a yoga and Pilates teacher for 12 years, and I start opening this channel in 2018 because I had back pain, scoliosis, and within 10 years, I improved my back pain from scoliosis. And the last 15 years, I've been dedicating my time, my hours, and my studies to learn about spinal health. And I always bring serious, and this series exactly is for, especially for women that are experiencing any type of discomfort, weakness, or challenge in the pelvic floor area. And I'm here today with Jeanice. Jeanice is a physical therapist, advanced training, and she has a ton of certifications related to women's health and biofeedback and pelvic health. She is in this moment, most likely, I believe, in Austin, but she loves traveling. And if you actually follow her Instagram, which is My Pelvic Floor Muscles, you can see that she really, somehow, she created an amazing career that allows her to travel the world and is still doing what she loves. So I am very inspired with her knowledge and her vision, living life fully in the full potential and supporting women. That is so important. She also has a non-profit organization, and she supports everyone related to pelvic health. And you can imagine how many hours we can talk about it. So let's just welcome one more time the amazing therapist, Jeanice Mitchell. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. What a wonderful introduction, and what a wonderful opportunity again to connect with you and anybody else listening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Again, I know you are so many people following you, and you have clients, you teach classes. There is a challenge in December. So everyone listening to this, after this talk, which is a very short talk, a little bit of a teaser, we welcome you to join the My Pelvic Floor Muscles Challenge in December. So why don't you just talk very quickly about what is this challenge? Because I also sign in, I do have a little bit of weakness on my right inner thighs. I'm feeling when I squat, something's going on with that side. Even though I'm a Pilates teacher, I feel like I have to do some work to this specific area. So I wanted to know a little bit. Can you tell us very quick about what is this challenge about?
Yeah. The challenge is basically to help people connect with their pelvic floor muscles, because it's kind of like, maybe you've heard about your pelvic floor muscles, but where are they? What do they do? And how do they work? And then are they overactive? Are they underactive? Are they healthy? And so basically we're going to go through every day. We have a stretching exercise, a strengthening exercise, and then an educational piece. And by the end of December, you're going to have actually checked your own pelvic floor muscles, because you have 19 pelvic floor muscles. And so a lot of times people think it's just one little Kegel muscle, but I'm going to teach you how to individually check some of them. We're not going to check individually all 19, but we'll do a prolapse check for a vaginal bulge, and just really helping you to get familiar with your anatomy, and then understanding how your anatomy may impact symptoms that you're having.
Oh, okay. So one question quickly, because I'm curious, since I'm going to be part of it. I want to know how long, or what is the investment of my time? I think that's what is happening a lot now. It's like we have such a limited time to actually invest in our health. And this is happening because I am a trainer, a physical trainer, a Pilates yoga teacher. I work with health, but I noticed that that's number one excuse, or number one reason that people don't really pay attention on health, because they have no time. So how long would someone have to invest on this program to be able to get the progression of the 30-day challenge?
Ideally, you're doing about 20 minutes a day.
Okay.
So this gives you the educational and the 2 exercises. And then by the end, you'll have been exposed to all these different exercises, and then you can see what feels good for your body. When you do an exercise, sometimes you're like, oh, that's really hard, or that's painful, or this doesn't feel good to my body, right? Or I don't even feel a stretch with that stretch. So you're going to have the opportunity to kind of mix and match exercises that work for your body.
Okay.
And my goal is for you to have a program by the end of this that doesn't take you more than 20 to 30 minutes maximum every day to do some of these at home. Everything can be done at home.
At home. So it's doable. And now the other question is, okay, let's say I found my 20 minutes. Is it like everybody's going to log in online, or is it going to be like a platform? I choose the time that I have available to be able to do this.
Yeah, it's self-paced. It's do it yourself. So it's pre-recorded in the platform. So you log in whenever you can. If you can only do 5 minutes at one time, and then you come back and do another 5 minutes, that's fine. Or you want to listen to it when you're in the car. You don't have to watch it. You can just listen to it if that's easier for you.
You can visualize yourself moving. Okay.
Yes, I think it's so much better to see it, but I want to eliminate any barriers.
Exactly. Okay, I understand. So I'm excited to get to practice. I will start most likely with like 10 to 15 minutes. And if I really get excited within the practice, who knows if I can push it to 20 minutes. Because I just noticed I cannot keep ignoring that area. Because I'm very intuitive with my body. And every time I do Bulgarian squats, anything related to my legs, I do feel a weakness on my right inner thigh. It could be coming from a previous injury. I had a micro tear on that area. So this affects your pelvic floor area. And if you ignore it, it can get worse, right? So my own body tells me this, and then you come into my life and educating us. It's like, I should just maybe perhaps be part of this. So I'm excited to incorporate the movements and learning new movements. I'm a teacher for over 12 years, but I'm always so open to be a student, especially for somebody like you that's been completely focusing on this specific area.
Yes, we start very, very simple at the beginning. So we just gradually build up.
Yes, and yes, that's exactly how I also develop my programs. Less is more. And with this area, we only need to breathe and bring the attention into the area. Sometimes subtle movements do big transformation for us. So for the mothers, even for men, I actually was searching a lot into this topic, and even men can also experience incontinence. Our topic today is about incontinence, but if you are actually experiencing something else related to this area, like a prolapse or anything related to this area, please send us a comment either to Jeanice or to me, and then we always will add new ideas about what we will talk. So today talking about incontinence. It's a topic actually been asking people. It's like, that topic, I don't want to talk about that, right? Like we just really try sometimes to put it under the carpet, but at the end we have to express what's happening in that area. And one of my clients, it has issues since she's 15 years old, and she actually asked me this question, and she's willing to tell. So I'm disclosing this with her authorization. So she has been having this issue since she's 15, and she just only can hold for 20 minutes, and it's hard for basically coughing, sneezing, laughing, all these type of pressure where we have to create a vacuum is not 100% for her. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna talk with Jeanice since she's the expert, and I want to know exactly basically what could be the causes of this type of incontinence and how we could actually solve this. Immediately I told her, sign into the challenge, but let's just start getting a little bit more of the knowledge behind about incontinence.
So what I would really recommend is to start with the Bladder Diary. So she has a very objective record of when she's actually urinating, when she's leaking, and what she's doing with it. Because a lot of times we the details over time, they kind of merge together. So have a very objective outline of exactly what's happening and when. And then, so let's say we're talking about stress incontinence. Stress incontinence, if you imagine the bladder is kind of like a water balloon, and as it fills, it expands. Your pelvic floor muscles wrap around the outlet of that water balloon, okay? And so they're designed to help keep that closed so that urine doesn't leak out, but they also need to relax so that urine does flow out. There's a second thing that I would recommend is on day 2 of the challenge, there's something called the Australian Pelvic Floor Questionnaire. And so it goes through, it's 2 pages of questions where you're self-scoring yourself. And so I recommend everyone to go through that and answer all those questions and analyze what's happening with your body right now. And so you get
this form that you were saying, where can we get the access to this form?
It's in the challenge. So it's day 2 of the challenge. So you log in, you have to log into the challenge, and then the form is there, and there's a tracking form. And so you score yourself with your bladder, with your bowel, with sexual health, and also with prolapse. And so they ask you a bunch of questions.
Okay.
So let's say that it is stress incontinence, where those muscles aren't closing off, which it sounds like that's at least one part of what's happening here. A lot of times the muscles, okay, so let's back up. With the pelvic floor muscles, they need to kind of think about like as the bicep here. They need to be able to fully contract and squeeze hard, and they also need to be able to fully relax and lengthen. And so you can have problems with being able to fully contract, you can have problems with being able to fully relax, and you can have a mixture of things that are happening. And so that's kind of the confusing part, is like, okay, what's happening with my pelvic floor? Is it too tight? Because it's a myth that a tight muscle is a strong muscle. So if you feel your upper trap, and let's say you've been on the computer all day long and you feel your upper trap, it feels really tight. Does that mean it's strong? No, it doesn't have the strength, endurance to be able to do what it's asked it to do. So the same thing can happen with the pelvic floor. It has these jobs, and so we need to identify what's happening with the pelvic floor. Is there any overactivity happening? And then we have a whole collage of things that we can do. So we want to do pelvic floor muscle training. We want to train the muscles with coordinated activities too. We also want to look at other factors like, does she smoke? Is she diabetic? What is her weight? So we want to have a healthy weight and a healthy BMI, because that does affect urinary leaking. Pooping. So does she poop every day? How are her bladder habits? Is she dietary irritant? So if she's drinking a lot of coffee and tea and citrus, these are all things that can play a role with pelvic health. So rarely is it just one thing that we say, okay, this one thing will fix you. It's all these things, looking at the big picture and evaluating. So I hope that gives you a starting point and an understanding of what could happen.
So like Jeanice says, she literally threw you a bomb of information. So if you need, that was a lot, guys.
Each one of those we could do a whole podcast on.
Yes, I hope you made notes. And if you didn't, just come back 3 minutes ago and try to slow down her bomb of information. Urinary incontinence affects millions of people, including men and women. This big part, like she was commenting, it could be because we are aging and our muscles are not trained as they're supposed to. Remember, the muscles are down there, needs to be trained, and we need to pay attention. That's why, like, I'm 36, I do Pilates, but there is something going on that is not effective, because if I feel a weakness, it's because something's going on there, right? So not even trainers are actually out from this particular issue. And
I came into pelvic floor physical therapy because I had issues myself.
Exactly.
Right? So,
exactly. You, as a mother, you also have another even deeper, I will say, reason to do this, right? Just
more risk factors.
Exactly. And so pregnancy and childbirth can be also a big impact of this. I was also checking. I wanted to remind people, if you want to also listen to another talk about this, you can go down to the episode 22. It was with Nab Grebal. She's a physiotherapist here in Canada. We also talk about this particular topic, urinary urgency. That's how she tells or mentions this topic as a urinary urgency. You can go down to a 22nd one, and that's where she talks about this. And then now we're just coming back into the topic and then bringing more knowledge about this. I also was sharing information about the happy bladder. So happy bladder is not only about the muscles, but also about how we eat. Nutrition is so important. So we got sensitive bladders may not like citrus, tomato-based products, dairy, chocolate. I'm sorry, guys, chocolate. Oh no, pineapple and food coloring. So these are maybe food that could be sensitive for our bladder. Can you tell us a little bit more about this? Actually, just pulling information from my pelvic floor muscles IG account where she actually shares all these. And maybe why don't you just tell us about the bladder friendly foods?
Yes. So, you know what, I wanted to add one thing back before I jump into this with what we were just talking about with urinary leaking. It also, remember we were talking about that there's 19 different pelvic floor muscles, right? And so people will come in to see me regularly and say, oh, I've tried Kegels and they don't work. Okay, there's so many reasons why that could be the case, but if you look at the pelvic floor muscles, of course we have the pelvis here. This is the pubic bone and the tailbone. And all of these are pelvic floor muscles. Here's the anus, that's the vaginal opening, and that's the urethral opening. You have different muscles that control the urethra and that control the anus. So making sure that you're training the right pelvic floor muscles too. So training them the right way, but let's say you're spending all your time squeezing the anus, and you're not squeezing the front part where the urethra is and where urine comes out, then you're not going to see a difference. So I just wanted to throw that out there too, that there's
but I'm sure the challenge you're going to teach us how to be so in tune with each segment of that area. So I'm actually excited to develop that awareness. So
bladder friendly foods.
Bladder friendly foods, we already talked about those foods that could affect the sensitivity in the bladder. So let's just talk about actually the good ones for our bladder.
You know what? I don't have that list. I think you have the list, right? You have the list pulled up. I have the unfriendly foods right here. Yeah. The friendly foods. So why don't you share what I had in the account there? And I can talk, I want people to understand a little bit why some of these foods might be aggravating the bladder. So is that
sure? Okay? Let's go. Why the citrus? Because I do drink lemon, maybe sometimes grapefruit, but lemon for sure. So this could cause some aggravation.
So let's just remember the anatomy. The bladder is like that water balloon. As it fills, it expands. You have a bladder muscle that's different than the pelvic floor muscles, and it wraps around the whole bladder itself. And this is an involuntary muscle. So the pelvic floor muscles are voluntary. We can squeeze them, we can relax them. The actual bladder muscle is involuntary. And what its job is to squeeze the bladder to empty out the urine. Okay, so foods that are very high in acidic content, like citrus would be, those foods can aggravate the actual bladder and make it want to push, causing that urinary urgency, which you mentioned the other PT was talking about, causing that urinary urgency and make you feel like you need to go. And so a good kind of gauge of this is, let's say you have coffee or tea. Do you notice that you have leaking after that, or that you have really strong urgency, or that you have pain? Those are some signals that maybe your bladder might have insensitivity to that.
So remember, the foods that we can pay attention, especially for those that are already experiencing some type of urinary urgency, are citrus, tomato-based products, dairy, chocolate, pineapple, and food coloring.
Yep, and carbonation. I mean, there's more things we can add there too. So those are the things that might irritate it. Now you have the list of good things.
Yes. That's okay. Okay, my friends, let's just focus on these. These ones are the good ones, and I think you probably would be happy to hear the eggs are good ones for our bladder. Potatoes. My boyfriend will be super happy because he really is very, very happy with this potato one. He loves potatoes. Bananas. Green beans, winter squash, which is great for us here in Canada. We have a lot of winter squash in this moment. Nuts, bread, oats, and pears.
Yeah, good. And of course, this isn't an all-inclusive list. This just gives you more, these are more neutral foods.
Okay.
So,
yeah. So in this case, like I work with nutrition, and I'm not that, I don't really, I'm not too friendly with the carbs. And you mentioned here the oats and the bread. Is it a way to take another instead of these two? Just because oats normally for me, it bloats me, and it also spikes the insulin really fast. Same with the bread. So is it like a particular substitute for these two?
I don't have anything right at the top of my head. So I would say nutrition, I'm generally more focused on what is causing the irritation versus a replacement. So, and it varies so much from person to person. So you might have an oat insensitivity, somebody else might have a wheat insensitivity. So I would say working with someone that does specialize in nutrition would be a helpful thing if you want to dive further into that.
Well, you know what? We have had amazing information and we brought it to everybody. I mean, so much. If you could rewind everything and come back, I'm sure you're going to realize a few things that you could not catch, because Jeanice is full of content of wow, forever. I can't wait to do the challenge of the 30 days and then tell you in a month how I feel, because one of the most important things for all of us is when you get committed to something, you get to track something, you get to see the progression, then you get to revalue and try to see what works and start adding this into your lifestyle, because it's at the end, it's a lifestyle. It's not an easy fix. It's just you become aware, you start adding new habits, and then it becomes part of your life. So thank you so much, Jeanice, for your passion. For your smiles and your weeks and all this very fun way to teach others something about pelvic floor that is so important for everybody. So thank you so much for all this. I really love your channel, very entertaining, very educational. So I'm looking forward to talk one more time. And if you have any questions, guys, please ask Jeanice straight to her account, My Pelvic Floor Muscles, or my account, and remember to subscribe to the channel so you can get notifications every week. Thank you so much, Jeanice. Anything that you want to add before we end the call?
No, amazing. I would just say sometimes it gets overwhelming. You're thinking about, all these things I need to do. And what you were saying at the beginning, sometimes less is more. So even just choosing one thing that you focus on to make a difference in your own health can be really powerful.
Yes, especially for mothers. I know mothers have such a short time to add that part of the health for them. So less is more. Yeah, let's start with 5 minutes, and then you can get the goal as 20 minutes. So I'm looking forward to do the challenge together and to hear your feedback from this. Thank you, and have a beautiful day. Remember that together we are stronger.
Yes. All right. Take care. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.
We invite you to subscribe to this channel and share with your community. Please leave comments below, and if you like the episode, click the like button. Have a beautiful day.